All right. Settle down, everyone. Uh, I'm your teacher for today, as you are all getting close to adulthood, and apparently, due to your parents, decide that you should be just know the basics, since you all want to become those adventuring types. And well, I was hired, and this is my job. I do this, and I find it ridiculous myself, but I have to do what I'm told to do, and by that I mean what my job is, and I get paid to do it. So it's not the end of the world. So, I'm gonna teach you the basics of our world and our history and culture. To many of you, especially more of the higher educated ones who live in the cities, this is all probably common knowledge. But it's part of my job to teach you that. So we have to teach the basics. Our world began roughly in what we call the time past. We have a pretty good idea of how this history went. Up until around what they called the year 2020. Then they must have changed record systems, or something happened, or something. We just don't know exactly what went down. However, we do have a good idea of what happened before that. But then after that became what we call the Golden Age. An age of unprecedented scientific advancement, technological innovation, and wonders beyond mankind's dreams. Almost infinite food, advanced technology, long, healthy lives, and travel among the stars were all things people in the Golden Age could have achieved, and probably did. We don't really know the full extent of the capabilities or exactly what happened then. At some point during this age, the first of the four cities were founded. We are currently exist in the continent they would have called Antarctica. Now we just don't. Now we just call it home, as that's all we know. Then, well, I honestly don't know what happened, and no one really does. All we do know is that one day the Golden Age just ended, and most of the world, at least as far as we could see, was covered in a thick power of mutagenic we call radiation. Even though it's technically not the same radiation that you might know from class, but we like the name. This seemed to have destroyed every other civilization we're aware of during its collapse, or whatever caused it. We truly don't know. Some speculate a war, some speculate a scientific project got horribly wrong, some others speculate an alien attack. We just don't truly know what caused it. All we know is that one day there was a golden empire, an age of technology, and then only 4 cities remained. These became the first of the 5 cities. Now, I know what you're saying. Wait, that's 4, not 5. Yeah, I get. I'm moving. Then people hit. Luckily, our cities were apparently, at least by our best guess, small enough to not be directly hit, or at least not considered important enough by whatever forces, or just dumb luck. So we hid in the bunkers under the cities for many a year, until, about a decade later, we were able to come out into the sun once again, where the mutagenic radiation had died down a fair bit, not as much as it has these days, but it was down a fair bit. And maybe we could have reclaimed the glory of the Golden Age then. Maybe it wouldn't have been all lost. Sure, we lost some things by that point, but we were able to maintain most of it. And then the Civil War happened. As new races, or at least what we believe to be new races, showed up in the world, and the massive culture shock that was everything going boom and only 4 of the cities being left, the Golden Age, or where we believe there was at least 1,000, if not more cities, just being them left, it caused many to shock. Many chose the path that we should try to revigorate the Golden Age, bring it back, that we are its last bit, and we should keep the fire of civilization and life going. That wasn't an uncontested opinion. About half of the city's population turned against these ideas and said, no, this was clearly a sign that we should go back, that we shouldn't live in an age of technological wonder. This was clearly wrong somehow, and so they would turn their back on many things over time. This started the Civil War period of the 5 states that lasted for many a year, where the distinctions between the civilized and wild races would become defined, and we lost a good chunk of our technology during the war, and what we possibly believe to why we don't have good records of the Golden Age is because of this war. But then, luckily, the cities, thanks to due to luck, strategic abilities, and just some great old-fashioned war-making, were able to survive and pushed out the attackers. They went on to become the tribes, as you now know them. Then the four cities at the time were left to pick up the pieces and rebuild themselves after. They did this for a few hundred years, and then about 500 years later after that, the tax, the first city fell, as you know, now becoming all that we know about it is mostly gone. Then about a few hundred years, then 200 years after that, the fifth city will be formed and then went independent and became the new city as you know it today. And now, 300 years after that, the five cities, as we now call them, because because mostly our bureaucracy and culture refused to accept we lost the first one. I mean, now we stand in a wondrous age. Now that we've been able to rediscover and get the maker forges working again, we can now rediscover the lost technology of the golden age. It's truly an age of wonder we now live in, but threats are all around. And that is basically our world. That's how our civilization came to the position it's in and where it is. Our next courses will delve more into details on our world we find ourselves in and the changing times we now live in. I hope you can all attend.